This ain't Texas. Ooh, ain't no hold 'em. It's time for the party. Let's go on down to the rodeo, y'all. Hey, what's up, y'all? We are back for another episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 10, episode 4, Cowboys and NDAs. I hope y'all ready to go on down to the rodeo today. Y'all know Trish is throwing her birthday party. Trish is turning 38, and we are headed down to the rodeo. Please pull out your cowboy hats. If you went to the Cowboy Carter tour, pull your gear out, and let's see what is going down on this episode. We are going to pick right up where we left off at with Kimmy, Tisha, Marceau, and Maurice sitting down at the dinner table discussing the situation with Jalen. So Marceau says you're treating your stepchild like a stepchild. And Kimmy says, you know what, every now and then a nugget will come from something meaningful. And she says that Maurice values Marceau's opinion. Maurice doesn't value it enough to still listen to it, but I guess there is some value there. So I will give him that. Marceau says he really wants Maurice to understand what's at stake and what if you're missing out on time with Jalen, Kimmy, and Monster because you think you're right. And he claims he's willing to listen. We'll see if he's actually willing to listen or not. But so far, he's not listening. Right, and we're on to Trish and Ken. They are down at Fredro Star Studio, and I definitely thought this was Moesha's man until they put him up on the camera, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so there's another Fredro Star out there in the world, because that's certainly a Moesha's man. But they're down there for Trisha's 38th birthday party. They're having a photo shoot. It is going to be Trish and Ken. I don't quite see the chemistry. It definitely doesn't translate well on camera. He done told her, put your hand on the man's chest. And Trish just, like she's scared or something. Girl, that man got a lot of chest muscles. Grab it. What is you acting scared of? But anyway, everybody is apparently invited to this party but Marquez. They don't want anything to do with Marquez moving forward once this divorce takes place. Ken is over the drama. Trish claims she's over the drama. So we'll see. You know, we're going to put this to the test. Maybe y'all actually did sit down and listen and absorb some of the things that Fletcher, Will, Kimmy, Tisha, now tried to tell you in this last episode. So we're going to put it to the test and we're going to see. All right. And then we go over to the conversation with Marceau, Maurice, and Jalen. Marceau asked Maurice if he's been over to Jalen's property, and he says, sometimes you want to get invited over. So it seems like Jalen hasn't extended that invite to Maurice to come over. And Marceau says, I'm picking up a tone here. Do you feel a way that he doesn't want your input? And Maurice says he doesn't agree with it, but Marceau reiterates again that he is picking up a tone. And you got Jalen just in La La Land, just looking off into the air. Okay, let's continue. Jalen says, the more and more we talk about it, you're sounding like Kim Jong-un again. He said he sounded like a dictator again. He says dictators treat people close to them very well, and the further away they are, they don't treat them that well. Maurice says, so you feel like you're further away. And he says the hierarchy is Maurice, Kimmy, Monster, and then Jalen. So he is feeling farther away. Maurice says Monster is the last on the totem pole, and Jalen says, now wait, Monster may be the youngest, you know, he may not have the most knowledge, but he's not last when it comes to the favor and the love. So Jalen is still feeling last on the totem pole. He feels the furthest away, he feels disconnected, and you know, he reiterates that he feels that Maurice treats Monster way better and way differently than he treats him. Jalen, I know you a baby, but you're going to have to speak with a little more authority. you are dealing with two very stubborn people, two very strong-minded, know-it-alls. Like, you gonna have to step it up. And I don't care if you gotta practice in the mirror. I don't care if you gotta write it down and you gotta rehearse and go over it like it's lines in a movie or something. You gotta get it out. Look, bruh. Look, Maurice, bruh. Like, you treat me like the redheaded stepchild. Stuff ain't sweet over here, okay? Until you figure out this situation, until you stop treating me away and treating Monster like he is up here and I'm down here, we not good. Like, I can respect you, you my elder, but I need things to change. Like, I understand trying to be respectful and all of that. That I don't have a problem with. I'm not telling him to disrespect Maurice. I'm just telling him, sound sure of yourself. There's so much shakiness. There's, all this looking off and all of this hesitation in your voice. I just feel like if you really want him to listen and hear what it is you're saying, you are going to have to come off with some assertiveness and really stand your ground and really just, look, Maurice, or I don't know what he called him. Look, this is how I feel, and I'm standing on it. This is what it is. This is how I feel. I need you to change that, or we're not going to be able to grow, move forward. I'm not going to be able to look at you like a father figure or however you want me to look at you until you fix this issue, because this is bothering me and it is causing some friction in our relationship. We can be cordial. I still respect you. You're still my elder. You're still married to my mom, but we're not going to be able to have that father-son bond until you fix this issue. Like, just, you want to stand on it. You want to come with a little oomph if you want Maurice to really take it in and really hear you. We do end up getting an apology out of Maurice. He apologizes for anything in the past, and he also apologizes for anything in the future. So you finna mess up again, Maurice. But I'm not gonna give him too much. He did apologize. So Marceau says he appreciates that. Marceau asks Maurice what Jalen wants. And he says he knows he wants to grow in cybersecurity, he wants to grow his investment portfolio, and he wants to get involved in real estate. And he has some very difficult decisions to make coming up. And he's definitely listening to an extent, but are you getting to understand his needs and what he wants outside of just the business stuff? Because we know you love to talk about things revolving business and involving real estate and stock and finances and all those things. But are you aware of what he wants outside of that on a more emotional level, on just maybe day to day, on the bond with you? I feel like that is more so what he was asking in terms of this question. More well-rounded, do you know what he wants altogether? Not just out of his goals when it comes to advancing in business and finances and things of that nature, but as a whole. So I wish Marceau would have emphasized that and be like, well, what else? What other things does he want outside of that? Because I feel like there's a lot more to him, and I feel like that's what Jalen wants to get at when it comes to Maurice. You probably do very well when it comes to those conversations regarding business and real estate and cybersecurity and things of that nature. But again, like I said, last episode we had with him just kind of wanting a father, and there's more to him than just business. But Jalen advises us that he accepted a position in Colorado, so he will be moving by the end of the month. And he says he's happy to start the position, but he wishes it was some more money. And Maurice says, well, there's nothing wrong with that, because you're not going to start off as top dollar. Look at it as an investment. You're getting to move. You're getting ready to start a position that's in a field that you like. So maybe you're not making the most money right now, but at least it's getting you to where you need to be. And Jalen just looks at him like, it was very much like, did anybody ask you? Like, why are you talking right now? He looked like he was not trying to hear anything that Maurice was talking about. Jalen do not like Maurice. I'm sorry. Jalen is not feeling Maurice because every time Maurice opens his mouth, he just be looking like something stink or something, like somebody done farted or something. So yeah, I think he tired of Maurice. We meet up with Nell down at the daycare center. She handling some business, and then Trish drops in. Them two discuss the party. Nell was like, I don't know what's up with these little hoochie mama skirts you got on this flyer, girl, but I cannot be showing all my goods. I can't be showing all of Fletcher's goodies, to the whole parties. All right, y'all, so we're back. I apologize about that. I'm located near the pool, so I was picking up a lot of noise and I couldn't do it. But we're back with Martell, who I was beginning to forget was even still on the show. Where has Martell been? And it's probably because he done pissed everybody off on the cast, and they probably don't even want to film with him, which is why we have this scene with his mom. We may as well put her in the intro because I'm sure she's going to need to film a lot more scenes with them to remain on this show, because I don't feel like he has many friends left on this cast. You done burned too many bridges at this point. But anyway, he's meeting up with Mama Martell down at the Eggs Up Grill. They're having breakfast and he wants to discuss Ariane. But he advises us that he is moving her into an investment property. He is not moving her into his home until there is a ring on that finger. So I guess she will not be moving into the Holt estate. And frankly, I wouldn't want that investment property either, because Martell is the type that is quick to hold something over your head. So the moment they get into it, he is going to be quick to remind her he pays the bills. He done put her up and she can shut up and she can leave if she doesn't like it. So I would get my own place. It sounds nice to have somebody paying your bills, but I don't want to be reminded of that every other day. And Mama Martell is missing her some Mel. She is trying so hard not to say Mel's name. You could tell she is being very, very selective with her words. And she says, since that incident happened, she had to adjust. And it's been hard for her. And she wasn't the most receptive when it came to Ariane. But she's trying and she's warming up to her. She knows how much she means to Martell. And Martell says he appreciates that. And he says Ariane appreciates that too. And Martell then blew me away because he actually takes some accountability and some ownership. He says, people are taking their frustrations out on Ariane. They're making her out to be this horrible person, like she just came in and messed everything up. And he says, it was me. I did it, So it's not so much that she's this awful person. I made a choice and it happened, and it's something that we can't take back. So all we can do is move forward and continue to try to do better. And I respect that. I still don't like Ariane. And I still blame y'all both. Y'all both still some dirty you-know-whats to me. But no, on some real stuff, I think that was big of Martell to take ownership and admit that. And it sounded very genuine. And I feel like that is what I really appreciated. It sounded like it came from a very genuine place. And I can hear it even in his tone. There's been some growth there. There's been some growth. And I hope he doesn't prove me wrong. And Mama Martell asked him if he's going to marry Ariane. And he keeps reiterating that he just wants to make sure that she's the right one. He doesn't want to go down that same path. He wants to make sure that she's ready and she on her P's and Q's. And honestly, it doesn't sound like he wants to marry her. I don't even feel like he really likes her at this point. I feel like he's just settling. He knows what happened with the family, and it's just like, well, damn, I done messed up what I had. I done came this far, so I may as well ride it out because otherwise he probably feels like, well, it was for nothing then. The way he talks about her, it's like she's a stranger, or it's just like somebody he took in and feels sorry for, or feels like he's responsible for her because of what happened, or because they do have a child together. That's the vibes I'm getting. And Mama asks if he has talked to Marceau since they had their feud online, and he says, no, he hasn't, and he has no intention to do so. He said before he even put the video out, he was hoping that Marceau reached out to him to have a conversation, and that he really didn't even want to put that video out. He says they keep coming at him, so he's going to come back at them because he's tired of everybody coming for him. And Martell, you do tend to do that where it's always everybody else. So I need you to reel it back in. You're doing good. It seems like you have some growth going on and you taking accountability. I need you to lean into that when it comes to the Marceau situation as well, because I feel like from the last season, you were the one poking at them. I'm not exactly sure of this whole video situation. I can't recall exactly what was said off of the top of my head, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what happened with that video, but I do recall you poking at Marceau. This ain't Texas. Ooh, ain't no hold 'em. It's time for the party. Let's go on down to the rodeo, y'all. Right, showing up to the party looking good. All right, Tisha and Marceau. All right, Maurice and Kimmy, I see y'all. And they come in clowning the pictures. Talk about, I thought it was Trisha's birthday party. What's Ken's big ass doing in these pictures? And y'all just better be glad Marquez wasn't in the background of them pictures like this. We'll take Ken. And Tisha says, we ain't looking to start no mess tonight. It's going to be peace. We all going to be on one accord. And Maurice says, Chris coming here, we got some questions for him. So I don't know how peaceful things is going to be. And then Jalen walk in. Jalen looking good. And Nell's son, Lance, come in. Y'all did y'all research. Let me give y'all 10s. Y'all did that. I am impressed. And here comes Nell and Chris. There goes the neighborhood. But they're looking good too. I hope y'all went on down to the tour because y'all are doing it for me with this whole cowboy western aesthetic. I'm here for it. So I hope y'all took y'all behinds down there and showed out down at the tour. The birthday girl has arrived. She got security standing beside her. I don't know what y'all thought was about to go down when Chris and Nell walked in here, but I reckon there ain't gonna be no problems now that Big Ken is up in here. Y'all better sit down and act like y'all know. Coming here talking about y'all finna start drama and ask some questions. Sit down. Let's go. My boy Will is here. Yes, we getting a step closer, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we getting a little bit closer. And Martell, I hope he don't take your spot, but I wouldn't be mad at it. I ain't gonna lie. Now, Tisha, you was the one that said we was all gonna be on one accord and wasn't gonna be no mess and no drama tonight. And here you go starting. The fellas ain't even said nothing yet. Is she clowning this picture again, talking about, girl, it's your birthday party. What is Ken doing up there on your picture? And Trish says, that's my black cowboy. I wanted him on my picture. And Tisha, it's her party. If she wanted to share the spotlight with Ken, then that's on her. But Tisha says, what's going on with you and Ken? I feel like you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody's just looking around like, what the hell? Where did that even come from? Girl, this is her birthday party. The same way you sat here and said it's her birthday party. It's supposed to be about her. She not sharing the spotlight with Ken. We don't need to be sitting here asking these questions and bringing this negativity around her relationship here at her birthday party. She just walked in. The seat ain't even warm yet. Tisha, girl, messy. And now we got the fellas hovering around Ken. So much for all this peace. It seems like there's anything but peace. And y'all didn't even let them get like relaxed. Go and get a slice of pizza. Go and get a piece of steak. What do they serve at Western Bar? I don't know what's on the menu, but could we get some food first? Could we grab a drink first? Y'all just went right in. Damn. But the fellas are hovering around Ken. They say, I thought you and Marquez were getting good. Like, what happened? And here come Maurice on his pedestal. He said, in law, all evidence matters. So Ken, you the bad guy. Everybody doesn't view things how you view things. And Marceau says if something was to happen today, guess who they calling? Marquez. Because guess what? That's still her husband. And Ken says he feels like he is on trial. And I actually have to agree with Ken because I thought y'all problem was with Chris. So why ain't y'all over there attacking Chris? Why y'all over here attacking the security? He just came here to be big and swole, give us a little eye candy, be nice and oiled up. And I don't understand why y'all asking him all these questions. You got Tisha over there questioning Trish. Y'all over here going off on Ken and then talking about her ex and she's still married. Y'all may as well just go rip the damn poster off the wall. Just rip Ken down off the wall and just leave Trish on up there. We go back over to the table with the ladies, and it seems to be drama going on over there too. Because Nell says, listen, as much as you, as in Tisha and Kimmy, talk about everyone else and everything else going on, I don't feel like y'all are transparent about y'all stuff. And Tisha is coming in hot. Tisha over there cutting her off. Tisha just meow, 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 meow. We have all given Tisha a lot over the years, so I feel like Tisha is at a point where she is snapping. Tisha has snapped. And I feel like in an effort to combat all of the backlash that she has faced over the years, she is starting to come off real assertive and just real blunt. Like she ain't with it. And I can't necessarily blame her for that. As much as I believe Tisha is in denial and Tisha be making excuses and be seeing what she want to see, and I do agree that they do be quick to want to talk about everybody else's stuff but don't want to talk about their own stuff. I can't fault her for that because since season 1, everybody, me included, the internet, everybody on the show, producers, interviewers, has been coming at Tisha and Marceau. And as much as we do feel like there's some mistresses out there and there's some shady business going on, no proof has shown up yet. So I can't be mad at her for reaching her boiling point and now starting to fight back. Even though she do need to chill a little bit because you are doing a lot. But I get it. I'm going to throw Tisha a bone here. And Kimmy says, no, let her finish. And then she says, well, give me an example. And Nell says, the Martell situation. I don't feel like y'all were being transparent about that. And Kimmy says, well, all I was saying was I didn't finish the video. So I really don't know what the hell he said or what he's even talking about. And so that makes me not transparent for not knowing what's going on with that. And now Kimmy's getting a little spicy. She says, so you think our husbands are cheating and we don't want to talk about it? You said it, not me. So, and Tisha says she's very transparent and what she's not going to do is address people just because they feel the need, just because they feel that she needs to address them and explain the situation when she already knows what's going on in her own marriage. So, all right, y'all. All right. I can't tell if I'm reviewing Love and Hip Hop Atlanta still or if I'm on Love and Marriage Huntsville because this is very Rashida and Kurt, Yandy and Mendices coded. Tisha says, now hold up, girl. If anybody's not being transparent, it's you. Let's talk about your infidelity. Because according to the Huntsville streets, Chris is out here stepping out. And Nell says, well, I was going to talk about it, but Marceau stopped her from doing so. And then she says, Tisha is deflecting yet again. And then Kimmy steps in and she says, in order for the group to move forward, in a friendship, her and Trish have to be able to trust Tisha and Kimmy, and they have to be open to the fact that they are being transparent. And then Trish says, well, I'm an open book. And the room just got silent. Nell tries to agree with her. Nell, bye. We got a whole flashback of last season when we caught Trish in a whole lie about how she knew Martell. And to be honest, we still don't believe Trish because the truth is not in Trish. So who knows what even happened with that whole situation. Trish says, the book is open, sweetheart. Tisha says, well, what chapter are we on then? I'm liking Tisha. I'm sorry. I know I gave Tisha a lot in the past, but I feel like Tisha has took the advice that I was shouting at the TV screen, because I used to say the same things to Tisha that I said earlier about Jalen. Girl, you're going to have to put your foot down. You're going to have to stand on something. You're going to have to be more assertive. You're going to have to stop sounding so shaky and sounding so unsure of yourself. Boss up. And Tisha, I feel like she took that advice, because Tisha is getting y'all together one by one, getting this whole room together. And I'm here for it. We are supposed to be at a party. Where is the drinks? Where is the food? Where is the line dancing? Where is the mechanical bull? Where is the fun? Y'all are dragging this poor lady at her own birthday party, and then the fellas is over there dragging her man. And we back over with the fellas. Ken is still over here getting dragged. Marceau says he's approaching friendship on a whole different level. He says we need to understand some boundaries. And he says there's a big rumor that him and Maurice have women sign NDAs. And my man Will said, y'all don't? Y'all don't have women sign NDAs? And if you could see the look on Maurice and Marceau's face, he gagged them. He gagged them. They were not expecting Will to step up and blatantly just say, y'all don't? Like, so was he lying? And this is exactly why I like Will and Carlos. I'm going to keep saying it until you hear it. Please bring Will on the show. I need to see him in the intro next week. He should have been on the intro for this week, but I'm going to assume the person that does it was off. So when he gets back from vacation, please have him etch Will into the title of the show. Thank you so much. And here comes Marceau, master manipulator. So you think signing the NDA is going to stop them? Yes. Otherwise, why does anybody sign an NDA? Why does an NDA even exist if people aren't going to follow it? Yes, of course, there's some people who don't care and will say what they want to say anyway. But for the most part, I feel like NDAs tend to shut people up. So because they can't take Will and they looking up at Will like this, now they bring the attention back to Fletcher and they say, well, we actually were confronting you about it. You was the one that said we was out here getting the women to sign the NDAs. Y'all couldn't take Will now, could y'all? And you got Chris over here, no, that's not what happened. You missing the whole other side of the story. Chris, you ain't gotta bow down to Marceau and Maurice just because they always want to join forces and tag team everybody. You got these two big bodyguards next to you. If you don't tell them to handle your light work, you better tap into mail. Do you need an escortion? Do you need to be escorted out of here? Ain't nobody scared of y'all. And he said what he said. Now, Chris, you got Chris over here. I said, Marceau, Chris, now, come on now. You over here shaking in your cowboy boots. Stand on it. I'm gonna need you to drop your, you know what? I'm trying not to be too vulgar on this channel, but let them drop, Chris, because right now you looking a little crazy. If you was gonna be doing all this, you probably should have just stayed home. Maurice says he gonna drop it and let it go. He says, I had all this smoke for Chris before he got here. Maurice, he wasn't gonna do nothing, but they're gonna drop it. So back over to the lady. They are still going at it. So Kimmy says nobody can ever give her an example of how they're not transparent or what they're hiding. And I'm starting to feel like the ladies are the same as the men. And I'm referring to Maurice and Marcel. They're just good talkers. That's all that is. They're good at talking and making you feel like you slow or like you crazy or you tripping. So it's a little manipulative, but you know where they get it from. And Nell says, well, Maurice had the ladies sign the NDAs. That's what she heard. And Tisha says, well, let's go ask them. They right over there. And they walk over to the guys and they're like, well, that's what we was just over here talking about. So now everybody is here discussing the NDAs. And here come Tisha, big and bad Tisha. She over here with her finger up in Chris's face talking about, well, this was your doing. You the one that started all of this. And Chris yet again, which he was right in this instance. But Chris, why everybody coming for you, my man? I'm gonna need you to stand up for yourself. But Nell luckily steps in and she had her man's back and she told Tisha that she better pipe down. What we not gonna do is all of this. And Tisha said, Chris, you need to come up here and take center stage. Chris said, no, I don't report to you, Tisha. I report to Nell. And you know, Marcel, he always gotta try to correct things. And he's in the confessional saying, Tisha always want to step to people like they're her husband. You don't get to talk to men like that. But Marcel, you ain't said nothing here at this party. So why you in the confessional saying that? You need to grab Tisha, because then if Chris say something to her, y'all gonna be mad at Chris. Big bad Tisha still over there popping off. And Chris says, we already discussed it. I already handled that with Marcel. You the one that's late to the party. And then Marcel finally steps in. Hey, Chris. No, don't Chris me. Don't call my name. Address your wife. Get your wife. Don't address me. Because Chris ain't even say nothing to her. She the one over here popping off. She the one over here got her finger all up in the man's face. So you should have got her actually a long time ago. But you know Tisha fall right in line. So he whisper in her ear and say, it's already handled. And then Tisha say, oh. Chris even says he did kind of take his time, which he did. And then I don't appreciate how you leaned in and try to whisper, see, this is what we talking about with the not being transparent. Say it out loud for the group to hear. You need to address her so we all can hear it. Tisha, Miss Nell don't look like she finna play with you for too much longer. Now she said, all right, you done got dragged for all of these seasons, so I'm letting you make it. You think you big and bad now because you done finally put a little oomph in your voice, but ain't gonna be too much more of that. So Tisha, I hope you got something to stand on when Miss Nell come for that ass, because she looked like she about to come for that ass. So hopefully it's not just all mouth and you got something behind that. But that is the end of the episode. Thank you guys for sticking around. I'm sorry that I'm uploading this so late. Like I said, I had a little disruption go on and yeah, it was a mess. I'm still trying to figure this out. So hopefully y'all still watch it. But thank you for sticking around. I hope you help me continue to grow this channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, and I'm open to any criticism that you may have. Please feel free to drop down in the comments and tell me anything that I can improve upon or anything you liked or disliked. If you don't like my little party city lights in the background or something, tell me, let me know. I'm still very new to this, so I'm looking for ways to improve. And it's all about you guys. You are the ones that are watching, so I'm open to anything that you have to say. But thank you so much. Like I said, please like, subscribe, comment, turn your notifications on. I look forward to seeing you in the future. And have a good night. My name is DeJuan Ryan.